So Dolores Cahill, she's working from Ireland, and she's talking a lot about rights and law and stuff. And she keeps saying, to quote, your inalienable rights. And so that's why I brought that up, because it's again, it's like these.
No, that's good.
You know what I mean? It's a problem, because on the one hand, I hear what is being said, and it's true. We are born of God, and that is true. However, if you're trying to get through an airport and get your way with something, quoting your inalienable rights, is that going to work? Because she's claiming in some degree that's working for her to not get tested and so forth.
To a degree. In fact, somebody just sent me that video the other day for me to comment on with, I think his name is Chris Sky here in Canada. Yes. We've got where he walks through the airport, and he's like, you don't have to, I refuse this, and all you Canadian citizens out there, you don't have to accept this, and under section this of the the Charter Rights and Freedoms, and then under section this and blah, blah, blah. Now, what's amazing is that even within the confines of what he was speaking to, he still got left alone. He still was escorted out, told not to come back. He still got a ticket he knew that he would never have to pay, but it's being issued to scare everybody else. The ticket wasn't for him. The ticket was to scare the people that would never dream of fighting a ticket and would just pay it without questions. That's why that was done. So a lot of the things they're doing is right. We'll call it a step. One step on a staircase is probably 1,000 steps high. So a lot of us are getting very high up there, and we're applauding the people that are at least taking those first steps. Because again, Queen Victoria is dead. Constitution Act shouldn't technically exist. They've got no authority to enforce anything on us. But here's the problem. I got no problem with somebody making promises to me. And I'm going to hold them to that. In fact, a promise is probably the only thing you ever could enforce in commerce.
Very true.
You want to talk about rights? A right is the enforcement of a promise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Very important statement.
Very, very big fucking hint I just dropped there. So that's why I've turned a 180 on that when I really understood, holy shit, wait a minute. Do I really want to let these people off the hook? By saying, no, you don't owe me anything. You never made any promises to me. There is no Constitution Act. That's the only thing keeping these people in check.
Mm-hmm.
They made you a promise. Well, you better fucking go collect on it.
Mm-hmm. What about accepted for value, as far as that sort of, because using promissory notes and these sorts of things? Because I know Winston Trout harped on a lot about that. And I tried it with some limited success, but is that a value in commerce?
You'll get away with a few things until they've gone and they check the records and they realize you don't control your person. So until you control your person, you have no right to do that. And that's why Schroet went to jail. He was doing things he didn't have the right to do with his person yet.
Right. So, and he was speaking about leaning the person through the Governor General. Is that the correct route, through Governor General, or is that incorrect information?
I would say you can try that, but I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. What I can— It's
a method, right? It's one.
Well, what I'll say is don't do it until you know what that actually means to do that. Because here's the failing with the free man movement or the patriot myth movement is the newest thing this week. Some email goes out, it gets passed around. Next thing you know, 100,000 people are sending dumb fucking documents to every office in government that just floods them with shit. And they just take it all and throw it all in the garbage. You might even have one of the only 1 in 100,000 people that actually sent a legitimate document in of some kind. And it just went in the garbage with the other 100,000 they got bombarded with. The people that do that are not helping us. They are just as much my enemy as fucking vaccine people and pro-vaccine and pro-mask people are. The free man idiots out there that just copy every new thing that comes out without doing any research. You are also my enemy. You are not my friend, because you are not helping the situation. You're making things harder on everybody because you're too fucking lazy to go and look it up yourself. So you're just going to fire a bunch of shit off there that plugs the system and just gums it up, and it doesn't work for the rest of us as well. So that's a big problem. Having said that, if you're going to send something, know why you're doing it. Research it yourself, look into it. Don't just get a template somebody sent in the mail and said, oh, I heard somebody had success with this, okay? Because you're not helping yourself and you're not helping the rest of us. So liens, I mean, you just said somebody was mentioning unalienable rights, right? Like the word lien is in there. So maybe research what a lien is instead of just blindly obeying some document out there. All these words and some of the things out there I'm not a fan of. I mean, every once in a while, some new thing comes down the pipe where someone's like, oh, if you were walking to court and they ask you, do you understand? You just have to say, no, I overstand, right? These things are so fucking stupid. I don't even know who comes up with them. But next thing you know, you have 10,000 idiots walking into a courtroom saying, I don't understand. I overstand. And that means that you're under my overstanding. Like just, and what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and do you even know? I mean, the latest rage, I think about a year ago, was subrogation. I bet you 100,000 people walked into court within about a 2-week period. And everybody's like, oh, I'm going to subrogate that. Oh, I'm going to subrogate that. Oh, I'm going to subrogate that. And sent off documents saying, I'm subrogating. And all you had to do is ask him, what are you subrogating? Oh, I'm subrogating? Like that. It doesn't take long to figure out you're not a carpenter on a construction site. So if you're going to do stuff that you don't understand, even if you may have been partially right, you're going to fail every time because you don't understand contract law. You don't understand the words you're using. You don't understand why those words are used. You understand nothing. And telling me that you overstand is not going to fix the fucking problem either. So it's my people suffer for a lack of knowledge is where it is right now. But everybody out there, like just stop, please. Until you know what you're doing, please just stop.
So do you want sovereignty? Do you want to claim sovereignty? Do you want to use that argument? Is that a valid argument or a successful argument? And is there any place for sovereignty in commercial law or contract law?
Sovereignty is a horribly abused word. When you look at the classical definition of the word sovereignty, sovereignty means I have the ability to self-sustain to the point where I have my own standing armies and I can defend myself should another sovereign attack me. I can produce enough food to feed all my people. I'm completely independent from all the other nations on this planet, and I'm capable of defending myself and doing whatever it is that I want, subject only to God, right? No, I don't want that. I think that's probably one of the most horrible and archaic things you could ever imagine at this point in time. And you wouldn't last 2 seconds on this planet if you declared sovereignty and had to defend yourself, make sure you had enough water, food, and you didn't have to wait for a UBI check coming in 2 weeks. The idea of some of these broke fucking losers that are getting welfare checks or are about to apply for UBI saying, I'm a sovereign, right, is the most ludicrous thing. I bet you can't even feed yourself. If you weren't getting a government check, you'd fucking starve in 2 days. And now you're going to tell me you're a sovereign? You're a fucking idiot. Okay, so that needs to go the way of the dodo as well. It's my most hated word, not because of what the word represents, it's because of its misuse and abuse. And the idea that this is a status to achieve or is going to help you or is even capable of happening is laughable. And it's just right away, the sovereignty movement. Like So